Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel C'est Magnifique. Today I'm going to be talking about my top 10 list of designer fragrances. Now, I talk a lot about niche perfumery on my channel and I've been thinking about doing this video for a long time. I think there are some classics in here, but I think there's some kind of odd choices some people might think. That might be missing some of your favorites. There's always an interesting discussion in the comments afterwards to hear what people thought may or may not have been included. But let's dive straight into it. So number 10, we have Dior Homme. So Dior Homme. So this is definitely the most versatile masculine fragrance I've ever come across. This was slightly controversial when it was released because it replaced, or it's got the same name as the Dior Homme original, which was really famous for this iris note. And this came out in 2020 and people were a bit surprised that it didn't contain any iris, and it's quite different from the Dior Homme original and the Dior Homme Intense. And it took people a while to get used to it, but I think it's kind of gained popularity since then, and that's because it's so versatile, it's so sophisticated, it's so refined. It's sort of bordering on being generic, but in a good way. It's got vetiver, it's got cedarwood, and it's got bergamot in the top. And it's just a real sort of classic fragrance. And as I say, it's the most versatile fragrance I've got in my collection, in that you could wear it anywhere. You could literally wear it to work, you could wear it out for a night out, you could wear it out for dinner, you could wear it in the daytime, you could wear it in the evening. The only reason I put it lower this time is because the original, I bought it in 2020 when it first came out, and it just performed so well. So it's got something called ISO E Super, which normally enhances the performance of fragrances in it. But this is the second bottle I've got, and it's actually kind of significantly less longevity, which is a little bit disappointing because it really does affect how much you enjoy the wear or not. So that's the only reason why it's at number 10. But there we go, number 10, Dior Homme 2020. Number 9, and this is a real blast from the past, and it is Kenzo Pour Homme. So this is a 90s fragrance. And the reason it's on it is because I have very few summer fragrances. I don't like a lot of citrusy fragrances at the moment. I used to like them a lot, but I've kind of moved away from them. But I do struggle to find fragrances that I really like wearing in the summer. I live here in Spain, it's very humid, and this is the one fragrance that you can use really enjoyable after a hot day, being at the beach in a humid environment. It really is refreshing. It's one of the original sort of aquatic fragrances, and it's got lots of mineral notes in there. Some people might think it's sort of dated, but I just really enjoy it. I think it's a little bit more synthetic now than what it was originally, I'll say that. But it's still a really enjoyable wear, and I think you can get this quite cheap at the moment. So that's number 9, Kenzo Pour Homme. Number 8 is, I've spoken about this a lot on my channel, and that is Moschino Toy Boy. So Moschino Toy Boy is a very, very controversial fragrance. So it was marketed at men. It's got very prominent rose note, very prominent pear note in the top. And for that reason, a lot of men thought it was too feminine. I think it's quite interesting because I quite like things that are subversive, and I like the fact that it's marketed at men, but it's quite feminine, and it's in this sort of black kind of S&M bottle. I really like it. I mean, the performance on this is absolutely insane. Like, I think it's one of the best performing fragrances that I've got in my entire collection, and that's saying a lot. It's got elemi in it, which gives it this kind of creamy, resiny smell. There's sandalwood in the base, and there's vetiver in the base. So it's a really complex, really beautiful fragrance. However, because it's so well performing, it can be a little bit cloying in hot weather, for example. So I really don't enjoy wearing this in summer. And probably, yeah, I could probably get the other spring and autumn is probably the ideal time for it. There's other fragrances I prefer to wear in winter, but it is really enjoyable in autumn and spring. So number 8, Moschino's Toy Boy. Now, number 7 is not a blast from the past, it's from 2007, and it is Narciso Rodriguez's original For Him fragrance. This is the Eau de Toilette, and this was, let's sniff it. Yeah, wow. So this was this was created by Francis Kurjikstan. I can't pronounce the name properly, but he has his own, he created Baccarat Rouge. He has his own line of fragrances now, but this is a bit of a classic within the kind of within the fragrance community, in that very original smell, very masculine, kind of 80s inspired, fougere. It's got this kind of concrete vibe to it, which people talk about a lot in the fragrance forums, and that's because of the violet note. So there's a strong violet note, a strong patchouli note. It's great for wet weather. I really enjoy it in wet, cold weather. But very distinctive. It's no longer in production, but you can still pick it up in some places, in maybe some sort of smaller pharmacies. You will, smaller perfume stores. You still can still find it, certainly in Europe. So that's number 7, Narciso Rodriguez, For Him. Number 6, I'm sure a lot of you know this one, is Jean Paul Gaultier's Le Mail Le Parfum. Now, this one is, has been a major success. So I think it's one of the top rated fragrances on Fragrantica, for men at least. And obviously, if like me, you grew up, you were a teenager in the 90s and you enjoyed the original Jean Paul Gaultier Le Mail fragrance, this is they did a really good job of updating it and creating this parfum version. Very sweet, very attention seeking, unashamedly so. Lots of vanilla, tonka bean. I like tonka. It gives an additional sweetness on top of the vanilla, and cardamom in the top note. So there's sort of like spiciness to it. This is a difficult wear in that I wouldn't wear it to work. I probably wouldn't wear it daytime. It's a date night fragrance, I'd say, but a really great one for that. So that's number 6, Jean Paul Gaultier Le Mail Le Parfum. Now, number 5, the top 5, funnily enough, are only occupied by 2 designers, which is interesting. Didn't intend that for that to be the case, but that's the way it's turned out. So number 5 is Guerlain's Vetiver. Now, this is an absolute classic of perfumery. So this is, for me, the original Vetiver. This is what Vetiver smells like. If you don't know what Vetiver smells like, smell this and that will tell you exactly what Vetiver smells like. There is, however, a lot of other notes in there, but it's all supporting this very sort of dry, very traditional Vetiver. I have it in the original bottle. They now come in the square bottles, but I really am glad. Love these original sort of Art Deco inspired bottles. This one, you could wear it literally anywhere. It's maybe a little bit mature. Some people would say it was mature. I don't think so. I think it's classic. You could wear it to work. You can wear it day. You can wear it at night. It's one of these fragrances where it's almost like a sort of background fragrance. It's almost like it's missing, you know what I mean, like a top note or a mid note. However, I like it for that reason, because it's just really comforting. If I'm feeling a little ill, for example, I like to wear it because I find it really kind of, comforting and grounding. And Vetiver, apparently, as an essential oil, is that's one of its properties, is to help people feel kind of more grounded. So if you're kind of got a tendency towards being stressed or anxious, then this is a really good note in perfumery for you. But anyway, that's number 5, Guerlain's Vetiver. Number 4 is El Instant Homme by Guerlain. Now this is the new bottle, and this is beautiful. So, like many of Guerlain's fragrances, the top note is lemon, whereas a lot of other kind of designer fragrances, the top notes are bergamot. This one, the Guerlain fragrances are quite distinctive for that lemon note in the top. However, it's lemon and then it quickly goes into patchouli and cacao, and I just love that combination. This is an eau de toilette. There is an eau de parfum. I prefer the eau de toilette because I prefer the smell more. I think it's got more emphasis on that patchouli cacao combination, which is what I really like about this fragrance. However, the performance isn't amazing. It's you know what I mean, I've used quite a lot of it in this year. I got it at Christmas last year, and yeah, I've used half of the bottle, which is a lot for me, because yeah, it kind of disappears quite quickly, so I tend to overspray. However, it's a great smell. You can, again, it's very versatile. Probably not a summer fragrance, but certainly autumn, winter, spring. Very sophisticated. I think that's why I put it so high. Is because it's a very sophisticated patchouli cacao fragrance, which I'm really sort of into at the moment. So I guess that's why it's at number 4. So number 4, L'Instant Homme by Guerlain. So that's the 2 Guerlain fragrances, and now we've got number 3, Tom Ford Noir. Now this is one I just recently rediscovered. I got it years ago as a present, and I wasn't ready for it at the time, I don't think. Like, I hadn't sort of like developed my taste enough in perfume to be able to appreciate it. However, I've recently rediscovered it, and I have to say that this is like a bit of a sleeper masterpiece. You know what I mean? People don't talk about it a lot, and it's maybe not for everyone, but as I say, that this is my top 10 designer fragrances, and I have got a slightly peculiar taste sometimes. But this is really distinctive because, again, it's violet and it's patchouli. It's got caraway in the top, which is like gives it a sort of spiciness. People might say a sort of slightly BO smell to it. I don't think that's the case. It's like a sort of spiciness, and it actually makes it, it gives it a bit more of a sort of earthiness to it. And then there's a lot of vanilla in the base. But the overall combination, it's one of these kind of older fragrances in that there's just a lot of notes in there. So it's very complex. Which I really like. You know what I mean? I like something that's distinctive. I like something that is, not the norm, something a bit unusual. And this one certainly is. So I think this one's still in production. I'd recommend checking it out because it's one of these ones that people don't talk about it a lot. So that's number 3, Tom Ford Noir. Number 2, another Tom Ford and a classic, which is Grey Vetiver. Grey Vetiver is an absolute classic. It is an office safe scent. It is a scent that you could wear to the Christmas office party. You could wear it on holiday in summer. You can wear it, anything that you can think of as a good occasion to wear Grey Vetiver. And I once read a review which said that I would trust anybody wearing this fragrance, and I absolutely agree. It gives sophistication, it gives maturity, it gives trustworthiness. Again, it's because it's vetiver, it's got that sort of grounding, kind of solid feel about it. And this one has a lot of sort of freshness in the top, which makes it which makes it great for summer and winter. I love the bottle especially. I love the kind of combination of the kind of greeny glass and the silver. And yeah, there's not much more to say about it. It's been around for a long time. It continues to sell really well for a reason. So that's number 2, Tom Ford Grey Vetiver. Okay, and then number 1, which is also a sort of slightly new one on my radar, but it has been out for a little while, and that is Tom Ford's Ombre Leather. Now, this one, so I love it when I get surprised by fragrance, right? And the reason this is number 1 is because this one is supposed to be all about leather. And I remember smelling it a long time ago and thinking, oh yeah, that's just leather, it's straight up leather. But what's actually the most interesting thing about this fragrance is not the leather, it's the white florals underneath. So it has jasmine sambac, which gives it this very kind of interesting white floral experience underneath the leather, or on top of the leather. And for that reason, I just really love it. This is the Eau de Parfum. Now, there has been a parfum that's since come out. However, it doesn't have that same emphasis on the white floral. And for that reason, wasn't too keen on the parfum. But this one, I think, is like a real work of art. It was a sort of, I don't know, like a genius release by Tom Ford. And it's a great, it's not the most versatile fragrance, I'll say that, you know what I mean, I probably wouldn't wear it to work. However, if you're going out or if you want to impress or if you're wearing a leather jacket, then this is just, you have to wear this. It's got amazing performance, which, you know what I mean, generally Tom Ford fragrances have got good performance, I have to say, and that's why they've occupied the top spots of this list, because I think performance is so important with perfume, because you don't get the enjoyment of it. You don't get the same experience if it doesn't have the performance. If it just disappears, then you forget about it. But it's kind of like one of these fragrances where you're kind of reminded throughout the day or throughout the evening that you're wearing it, and it's just such a nice experience. So there we go, Tom Ford Ombre Leather number 1. So I'm really keen to get everyone's feedback or thoughts on this list. Obviously, there are probably some kind of obvious ones like, I don't know, Dior, Eau Sauvage. All of those aren't here, obviously, because they're not the ones that most speak to me, but I'm keen to get your thoughts on that list. Any you agree with, any you disagree with. It's always an interesting conversation in the comments, so thanks.